So welcome everybody. I'm Cindy Myers of yourenergyhealer.com, and we're going to have a little topic on how to handle these disruptive times and some tools on protecting ourselves, because there's a lot of external influences impacting us, and most of us that come to me are more empathic types, and so we're like little mini sponges for people's yucky energy, and that's not fun or necessary for us to carry on. And it's sometimes a little bit hard for us to know when it's happening. I know I got slimed pretty good the other day. Uh, it's really important to take care of ourselves because you can really feel pretty bleh if you get slimed. So let's talk about that and get into the tools as quickly so we can protect ourselves. And then we'll go into the healing circle. All right. So just a little quick note. If you are having a medical emergency, please contact your doctor. But what I can do for you is provide you energy support, help reduce some of the anxiety and other trapped emotions so that your natural healing abilities can work alongside your doctor. All right. So, like everybody knows, we are absolutely being bombarded right now on multiple levels. Um, some conscious, some intentional energies hitting us. Marketing is totally uses fear, um, uh, whether it's actual marketing of products. If you're watching a commercial, they use fear. Unfortunately, I use fear. uh, to get people to come. The topics are about fear, and then helping you know how to get out of it. When I just talk about positive energy, staying at the high level without bringing in a fear-based thing, I don't get as nearly as many signups and attention and attendance in my webinars as if I talk about fear first. So there's something about our need. Uh, where it's very well ingrained in our psyches to react to the fear button. Okay, so we're trying to pull ourselves out of be conscious, be more conscious of how much outside influences impact us and how and then tools, absolute tools to protect ourselves so we don't have to do that. We do not have to respond to the fear-based stuff. So hopefully you'll start ignoring my fear-based emails and just coming to the high frequency ones, or choosing at least being aware of what's going on. So there's a hint when you see fear in there, you know that I'm actually triggering you to go into your fear state. And then here's how it's going to help you though. Okay. So chaos is necessary though for change. We don't change easily and readily without chaos, and it's part of nature. I studied it in engineering, that actually out of chaos comes order. There's actual calculations on how to do that, believe it or not. Anyway, so we do need, and there's an innate, even though we want to break apart, then we want to rebalance and come together. The idea, though, is to come together in a higher state. That's our goal, right? What we tend to do is break apart and then want to go back to our safe little world that we already know. That's the difference. There's a comfort level. That's why people like to go to get triggered by the fear and then go, oh, what will help me feel better? That's part of the habit that's been created and taught to us probably for who knows how many centuries. I don't know how long it's been going on, that fear base is used to manipulate people. So but we're also in a quantum shift. We've been in it for a number of years now, and this higher frequency is raising us so that we want to get out of this fear decision making process, because let me tell you, fear brain makes really crappy decisions. It's reactionary. It's designed to save your life in case a lion jumps out at you and wants to eat you. It is not really good at making high functioning decisions. And so, and a lot of marketing is geared towards us not making those wise decisions. So just be conscious of that, and use the tools. If you see something that sounds interesting to you, doesn't mean it's not a good thing, not a product that you want to buy. just pull yourself out of that fear base and then really use your higher functioning brain to go, is this really something I want or need and can use? And is it useful to me or is it triggering me? Okay. So, as I said, disruption and all this stuff is to get us out of balance. It is to create stress. It is an intentional outside influence. It is trying to get us into our fear state. Um, and even people that are unconscious about it, if you're in a meeting or whatever, and there's anger, there's stress, other people's stress, we act like sponges and we can absorb it. It becomes then part of our body, our mind, our body, our spirit. It's we can take that on, and we, like I said, I when I used the word I got slimed the other day, it meant that I was around somebody. I have no idea who it was. I was in a Lowe's department, Lowe's home building store. And I just walked by somebody who knows who it was or when it, I know when it was because my body all of a sudden went kerflooey. I felt horrible. I thought I was going to pass out. And then I felt really yucky. I mean, I realized it within a few minutes what happened. I quit cleared. I tried to, put my shields up, all sorts of stuff. But I got it so hard that I felt kind of crappy for several hours. So it took a lot longer to pull myself out of it and do some self-care in order to do so. But at least I was conscious of it. If I wasn't conscious of it and didn't do all the tools to take care of myself, I could have been feeling puny for a day or two or three. So we really want to really work on how to take care of ourselves. And in this business, I have to watch it because all of you come, you're not coming because you feel good, right? So it's about if you do any of this work, and as empaths, we want to be caring and kind to others and be supportive. We just don't want to take it on and be a sponge and make it part of ourselves. That's not helping anybody. Okay, that's really not helping anybody. It's just taking it on and making ourselves sick, and it doesn't help the other person either. Well, I'll take that back. They may feel good temporarily because they just wrung it out on you, but that isn't your job or your role or your responsibility to do that. And you don't necessarily give anybody permission to do that. So it's kind of being hijacked. And that's what's happening with the world influence right now, too. It's like we're being hijacked all the time with all this bombarding of energy. And it's beyond this, our even planet. We're getting bombarded by the disruption of all this other stuff that's going on throughout the world and universe. So it's really intense right now. So one way to do it, I'm going to give you one quick little trick, and that's just using our positive emotions. This is Tesla, and she's one of my medicines, my best, my go-to positive emotion giver, because she makes me smile all the time and makes me happy, and I'm constantly laughing at her antics, sometimes frustrated, but most of the time she just tickles my funny bone, and she's so stinking cute that it's triggering all those emotions trigger my parasympathetic response system. I say I don't do drugs with anti-anxiety and antidepressants. I do dogs. I do animals. And it's true because those emotions are, you pay a lot of money to go to the drugstore and get that stuff. And they cost me money in feeding them, but but it's a cheap high. And so it actually does counter the anxiety and the depression and all the other stuff. So if I need help getting pulled out of it, I don't use them to bring myself out on them because I don't want them carrying my emotions either and getting sick because they can. But I do use them to just make me happy. Okay. So I use animals all the time to just find joy. They're my go-to. It's an easy way to say, oh, I need to breathe and do 3 gratitudes. Well, there's one of them right there. Is that little girl. Or I go outside and play bouncy ball with her. Okay, so this is the other thing when I want to get out of my fight or flight response system, or just kind of learning when I'm in a position of the world is getting to me, and there's so many problems out there, and I could easily just be overwhelmed by them. And I love this concept. This is from Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Really good book. It's been around for a while. But this was one of the things that really changed my perspective on a lot of things, because I come from a family. I was well trained to be a worrier. That goes back generations in my family, and we made it an art form, and it is the wrong energy to tune yourself to, and it absorbs into your body big time, and it does, and it ripples out to the ones that it it's it's a negative feedback loop, because then the person that you're worrying about gets that energy as opposed, and that's not helpful energy. So it's just the wrong concept. So if you're worried about stuff, you're stressed out about something that really is out of your control, that's your circle of concern. You have nothing you can do about it. The circle of influence is something I can have impact over. That's so it's like, well, how much? And when I was first came across this, I spent most of my day in the circle of concern, dealing with things and thinking about things, worrying about stuff that I had zero impact on. I could have no say in it whatsoever. But I spent a lot of time in that realm until I saw this, and I went, oh, that's a waste of time and energy. So then I got to thinking about, well, what are the things I can have impact on? And that's how I try and look at things. So if I'm watching the news or hear something in the news, and it's just like, oh, well, that's crappy. That's crappy news. And that makes me sad and depressed and anxious. But you know what? That's, you know, out of my pay scale. I can't do anything about it. So I'm not going to spend a whole lot of more time and energy worrying about it, because nothing I can do about it. The one thing I can do about it, my circle of influence, is changing my energy. It's putting that into the healing circle and saying, let's send white light to it. I have a niece that loves to rock climb and go up in the, Colorado mountains and on it ledges and crazy crap. And that scares the pants off me. And I really want, my initial reaction is to worry when I hear that she's going there, or she sends me a picture from the top of some cliff and she's dangling on some rope, and I want, my stomach does a big flop. And my initial reaction wants to go into the fear-based thing and worry about her. But I stop myself, through my breathing, stop myself and say, that's not the energy I want to send her. I want her to be safe. So I take a deep breath. My circle of influence, because there's nothing I can do. She's in Colorado. She's on a cliff. Not much Aunt Cindy can do from here in Oregon. And I'm sure as heck not going to climb up that cliff anyway, even if I was there. So the best thing I can do is send her a nice white light, a bubble of white light around her to keep her safe and have a wonderful time. And she can tell me when she gets home safe and sound. And that feels so much different than if I'm sitting there worrying about it. So I stop myself every time I feel that urge to start worrying, and I go, no, white light, sending her white light, keep her safe and sound and having a wonderful time and come home. Because I also don't want to impose my fear onto her, my fear of heights. So that's one thing you can do. And again, circle of concern, circle of influence. And think about, in the beginning, just think about how much time in your day are you spending in one or the other. If you're spending a lot of time in that circle of concern, you are spending a whole lot of energy on something that you have zero impact on, or at least, and worse, you're actually adding to the worry state. You're feeding on it, and it's just adding to it because it feeds on itself. Then it's a negative feedback loop. You worry about it, and then more bad stuff happens, and more worry and more bad stuff. So the circle of influence has a better shot of having something change and better outcomes coming. You're adding into either a prayer for it. It's a high frequency energy, white light around it. Okay. Or maybe there is something you actually physically can do about something. Maybe a little piece might not be the whole big picture, but maybe there's one little piece. It's like, well, maybe I can donate to a cause that is helping the people that are capable of doing more, or something like that. Or I can donate time, something. Now I'm looking at what I can influence. Okay, so that's the difference. Uh, and some of you might be new. I wanted to show this. I like showing this chart periodically, especially when we go to the healing circle. The when I talk about love or above, this green, the 500, that you want to tune yourself to that 500 above. See, 600 is actually a higher frequency. So that quite often we'll tune to peace and calm. So we're up there. Gratitude is up here in around that same realm, in the 700 realm. So we're tuning really high frequency, which is magnitudes. This is a logarithmic scale, so it's magnitude stronger than the anger, the fear, the grief, guilt, shame, all those negative emotions and the worry, all that stuff is all in this lower frequency. Lower frequency means that it's moving slower and it's easier to get stuck in your bodies too. Okay. So again, what do you want to attract to yourself? And tuning to this stuff too, we're electromagnetic little attractors. So if you're tuning to love or above, you're going to attract more people at that higher frequency than at the lower frequency. If you're in the worry state, a lot of your time is spent in that worry state, you're attracting more of that same energy to you. So not only you sending it out, but it's coming right back into you. It's coming out like a boomerang. So if you can tune yourself back up higher, you'll attract more of that energy. Also, the added benefit of it is people that like to reside in this lower frequency emotion, that are really unconscious folks, they don't, it's too big of a mismatch. That frequency, higher frequency to the lower frequency, it rubs them the wrong way. It feels uncomfortable to them and they tend to go away. So I do like this. I forgot to tune myself the other day when I went to Lowe's. It was a new store that I hadn't, well, an unusual place that I don't usually shop, and I just totally forgot to tune myself ahead of time before I went in. And it was very dark energy in there to begin with. I should have known better, but I didn't. And so I hadn't tuned myself to the level above before I went in, and I got slimed. Before I go to do most of my errands where I'm around a lot of people, I try and tune myself to this level above, and people get the heck out of the way. um, so I don't even run, I rarely run into them anymore. Well, I shouldn't say that. Because of the disruptive energy, am finding more crabby people than I was finding a few months ago. There is weird energy out there. So even with my tuning at the higher frequency, I'm starting to kind of still experience a few irritating people when I go out shopping to the grocery store or something. But I'm aware of it, so I just kind of move around them. And I found the other day, here's a wonderful little cute short story. I was checking out. I was one of the last ones. The checker was, she was getting ready to go on a break, so she put the clothesline on the thing and the conveyor belt, and somebody went in and put their groceries in right after mine, and she kind of got a little irritated because I'm sure she was anxious to go on her break or end her day, whatever it was. And I heard her just kind of make a little comment under her breath, and she just looked crabby and upset. And so I don't know. She did say, ask me some. Oh, she reminded me if I had any of my own bags, because we get a discount if we bring in our own bags. And I said, oh, thank you for telling me. I forgot. And it's not a big deal. It's like 20 cents. I would have gotten a big deal. Anyway, but I thanked her and I smiled, and she joked, but she responded to that kindness of a thank you, a simple thank you. And it shifted her energy completely. And I responded with a joke upon her joke. And it totally shifted her energy. She stopped being crabby with the person that came by. She was thank you. She was very cheerful and friendly after that. So you can shift somebody else's energy by going to that level above and helping somebody else and showing, what was it? Gratitude. Gratitude is, again, really high frequency, and it totally shifted her energy. So that's how you can use it. Instead of going to her lower state of anger, I raised it up. Okay. So energy and emotion. So our thoughts and words matter. We just talked about that a little bit. Keep up into those higher frequency realms, because those matter. That circle of influence. versus circle of concern. If our thoughts are in that worry, negative energy, guess what? We're pouring, not only are we pouring that out, guess what? If I think, man, that person just really makes me mad all the time, and I'm thinking about that conversation and, ooh, blah, 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 they're such jerks and blah, you know what? All those words, they're not really going to them. The first one who's getting those words into your body, and even all those words have energy to them and a chemical component to them, it's going into me first, and it's the strongest coming into me. So all those thoughts, all those energy of the negative emotions are pouring into me, and that's toxic. Those are just junk food, just pouring in toxic energy into me. So our thoughts and words matter. So being conscious of what we're thinking, even though, yeah, that person, yeah, I'm stopping myself and going, no, I'm not doing that. And again, either using my dogs, doing something that I'm going to shift my energy into something that's productive, that makes me, even if it's something, a project or something that is a problem, I want to look for a solution that then I can say, oh, I'm so glad I thought of that. Now I'm in a gratitude mode. Oh, I'm so glad I found a link, or, oh, you know what? I can ask a referral from these places for somebody for help. Then I get to say thank you. Now I'm in a, again, circle of influence. I'm getting this problem solved. And I'm not going to the negative stuff that's just spinning, 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 and not taking me anywhere but adding more junk into my body. And I don't need any more of that in me. So, protective tools. Again, besides the doggy, our animals, our loved ones, our fur animals, or whatever you might, maybe it's a good book, or a bath, whatever makes you feel joy and peace and calm, those higher frequencies you want to think about. If you can't take that soak in a hot tub in a nice bath, then you can think about it. And those chemicals, it doesn't matter. Time and time does not mean anything at that point. Your master chef in your brain knows exactly what memory you're talking about, and a beautiful, long, luxurious soak in a nice hot tub. And it's going to send those chemicals of peace and calm that you feel when you're sitting in that tub. And if you're, yes, it's even better if you're actually getting to do it. But if you can't be in that place, the memory of it still, it's that words that matter. That memory is going to go through, give you those chemicals of peace and calm. So you're adding into the calming chemicals, the healthier chemicals into your body. So also you want to, as often as you can, do the breathing, full breathing, adding in like we do in our healing circle. You can do that on your own. You don't have to go into the full meditation, but do the breathing part of it and do it for at least 2 minutes at a time. It takes about 2 minutes, just 2 minutes, to pull you out of the fear state and go into your thinking brain state. 2 minutes. That's not bad. So it's faster than taking a pill. so take the breathing and do 2 minutes, okay? And do it as often as you can, especially if you're in a more higher stress, or if you really feel like the world is bombarding you all over the place. Do it as often as you can. Do the breathing, add in some gratitudes, peace and calm, whatever those higher frequencies, love or above. And then I really want you to do the surround ground shield daily right now. Absolutely. And you might need to boost it again if you're in, again, a high stressed energy state. Like when I went to Lowe's, I needed to do the surround ground shield again. That it seeped through my shield. So do the surround ground shield. Get that going. That's from Pat Longo. She created that nice shield, and it's a really good shield. And it's fast and easy to remember. So surround yourself with white light, ground yourself deeply into Mother Earth, and the shield I like to use is like the umpire chest protector. Protects your torso, which is where a lot of negative energy likes to seep in, through our heart chakra and through our throat chakra. So really, and solar plexus, stomach. All right, so surround ground shield. Start your day with a surround ground shield. And then if you're around anybody that's yucky energy, do a quick surround ground shield. I say it to myself. Sometimes I say it out loud. If they look at me, I don't care. All right. And then I like to look at things from different perspectives. Because again, if you start off from your fear state, which is the natural one, that's the fastest one, it's the, again, it's reactionary, so it gets triggered really fast. And then we tend to start looking at things from that perspective. So while I'm doing my breathing, I kind of want to look at how is it from a different angle, because maybe I'm getting fed to believe that this is the truth of the situation, and it's usually not true. It's usually a lie. It's quite often not all 100% accurate. So I want to look at things from other angles. Okay, it's kind of shifting it out of the circle of concern stuff and how people want you to save you versus, I think this might be better. It's the, instead of worrying about my niece, it's going, let me put a white light around it. Okay, it's looking at it from a different perspective. How can I do this more differently? So now that's the dog and pony show for today. Any questions? Anybody have any questions? I'm going to stop sharing. Before I stop sharing, let me go to the calendar. Let's see, we have a healing circle Saturday for anybody that's interested. A healing circle next Wednesday. No healing circle on the 13th. And then an animal and emotions webinar is on the 17th. So those are the kind of next things coming up. Okay. All right. So no questions? Any questions, comments on the? Got it. We got it. Got it. Good. Oh, we got a new one with Karen. We got a new face with Karen. Hi. Welcome. Okay, so you guys want to go straight into the healing circle then? All right. So let me, since there's no questions, unless somebody, you know what, anybody that would like a clearing, if you can type it in the chat, do so, and I'll clear you during the healing circle. How's that? So just put it in the chat.